Hey, readers and writers. Yesterday, we took some time to read the story, The Paper Bag Princess. Before we dive any deeper with that today, let's take 30 seconds to turn and talk. What happened in the story? Go ahead. 15, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands up top. Awesome. So, The Paper Bag Princess. What we did with this story is we filled out a literature plot summary thinking map. So this was our literature thinking map. What we will be doing with those today is writing a summary, a plot summary of our stories. So I filled out using the Paper Bag Princess. You all filled out using My Teacher is an Alien. But if you remember, in working towards these summaries today, we did not focus just on the beginning, middle, and end. That may be something that we've done in earlier grades, but you are in fifth grade now. So in fifth grade, when we talk about a plot summary, we talk a little bigger than beginning, middle, end. What we take a look at are the challenges in a story. What's the main problem? And like we had said, this ties into our story mapping or our story mountain, our story roller coaster, whatever you've heard in the past. So we talk about the challenges that the main character faces and how the main character responds to these challenges. In the future, we'll be able to talk a lot about what those responses mean for our person, how that helps us describe our person, and learn a lot more about these main characters. In addition, it will also help us get to the theme of our story. But for today, we're just working to identify them. So, what challenge does the main character face? How does the main character respond to this challenge? And then, how does the story resolve? What lesson does the main character learn or should have learned? So we know that for My Teacher is an Alien, we haven't quite finished that story. So you actually worked to make a prediction. Today, we're going to take that thinking map. So our goal by the end of the day is to say, I can write a plot summary using my thinking map. So I have my thinking map here, and I've got my sample summary, but I'm going to show you how I worked to write this. So if we look here, I have my thinking map. So we filled out our introduce the text section. So I've got my title, The Paper Bag Princess, the author, Robert Munsch. We said our genre is a fairy tale, setting, castle, land for a journey. Main characters, we've got Princess, Princess Elizabeth, Prince Ronald, and the dragon. So I'm going to show you how I take those pieces and put them into complete sentences to introduce my topic here. So it's going to be word for word. The book, I'll underline my title, The Paper Bag Princess by Robert Munsch. Won't underline his name, just the title. Because this is a published book, we underline the title. Is a fairy tale. So I'm going right into the genre that takes place in a castle. So I'm going to set up my setting first, my genre and my setting. Now I'm going to talk about my characters. The main characters are Princess Elizabeth, Prince Ronald, and a dragon. Perfect. So that is my introduction. I put it into two sentences, but I made sure I got all of those components from my thinking map. So now moving back to this part, we talked about the challenge. So I wrote the main challenge that the character faces. Princess Elizabeth is planning on marrying Prince Ronald, but a dragon tries to destroy her castle. He kidnaps Ronald, burns her clothes, and only leaves her with a paper bag to wear. So I'm just going to put a quick sentence starter in the story, and then I'm going to go on with what was in my box. Princess Elizabeth is planning on marrying Prince Ronald, but a dragon tries to destroy her castle. So now I'm just going word for word. He kidnaps Ronald, burns her clothes, and only leaves her with a paper bag to wear. So I've gone word for word there. In my next box, I said Elizabeth follows the dragon through forests, completes tasks, and flies around the world. She's trying to find and save Ronald. So again, I'm just going to go word for word there. I put my work into my thinking map, so it's made my writing day a little easier today. So Elizabeth follows the dragon through forests, completes tasks, and flies around the world. Elizabeth, or she, is trying to find and save Ronald. So I'm so glad the other day I put so much work into my thinking map because it's making today really easy. If I had to go back into my text, it would make me think, I should have dug a little deeper yesterday in my thinking map. So now, same thing, word for word, what I have in my resolve box, I'm going to go ahead and type that. Elizabeth finds Ronald and he rejects her because she no longer looks like a princess. Elizabeth tells Ronald just how ungrateful he is, then rejects him and goes off dancing into the sunset to live her own life. So let's read this. The book The Paper Bag Princess by Robert Munsch is a fairy tale that takes place in a castle. The main characters are Princess Elizabeth, Prince Ronald, and a dragon. In the story, Princess Elizabeth is planning on marrying Prince Ronald, but a dragon tries to destroy her castle. He kidnaps Ronald, burns her clothes, and only leaves her with a paper bag to wear. Elizabeth follows the dragon through forests, completes tasks, and flies around the world. She's trying to find and save Ronald. Elizabeth finds Ronald and he rejects her because she no longer looks like a princess. Elizabeth tells Ronald just how ungrateful he is, then rejects him and goes off dancing into the sunset to live her own life. So I'm going to stop the video now to give you directions on what you will be doing with your summary today. Happy reading, happy writing.